According to the monthly news magazine, German parliamentarians should persuade their Brussels counterparts to promote incentives for only zero-emission vehicles to be registered by 2030, citing a resolution made during a Bundesrat meeting. Canadian, Japanese, and German scientists opted to dig more into some of these weapons. Their fascination in stinging species like coral and jellyfish led them to focus on predatory marine microorganisms known as dinoflagellates, which have the ballistic weapons you just saw.
Labor migration has an impact on nearly every country. Traditional extended families in rural areas have been weakened by the necessity of family members moving to towns for economic reasons. As a result, migration is a huge issue to social and economic policy across the world.
There are two recent studies that offer insight on the brain's encoding of time and place in memories. Findings add to fundamental memory research, but they might also lead to the development of new therapies for illnesses such as traumatic brain injury or Alzheimer's disease that cause memory loss.
The physical location of a restaurant in the competitive landscape of the city has long been known as a major factor in its likely success or failure. Once restaurants are established in such environments, they can do little about their location. All they can do is work to improve customer access to their premises. Restaurateurs often do this by engaging in battles with local authorities about car parking.
Many 19th-century philosophers, including Orientalists, viewed mankind as either a huge collective or as a collection of isolated individuals. Orientalists aren't interested in or capable of talking about people, instead, they prefer to discuss abstract concepts. Europe and Asia, or Occident and Orient, are two terms that have been used for millennia to categorize human diversity, limiting it to a single or a few final collective realities. A student exchange program supplements formal education while also encouraging tolerance, maturity, and independence, all of which are desirable attributes in today's employment market. Living in the host nation as a member of the community, rather than a tourist or visitor, is what makes the experience both challenging and fulfilling.
Initially, the Commission thought it would be preferable to investigate the entire notion of domicile, especially because dependent residence occurs in the case of minors, children under the age of majority, and mentally ill adults, as well as married women. The Commission was right.
Extra energy that a human body does not require is provided by triglycerides. Excessive consumption of these fat cells alters the inflammatory cytokines, impairing the body's ability to deal with high blood sugar.
Despite the fact that he was given the authority of a monarch, Augustus positioned himself as a defender of republican ideals. He was consistently promoted to the position of consul because of his deference to the Senate. He was effective in reducing the political clout of the army by retiring large numbers of troops while rewarding their loyalty with land or cash.
A renewable energy source is hydropower. A water wheel was built on a watercourse and used to power mills and other machinery in the past. There are two ways to produce electricity today. The first is to use mechanical energy in a turbine, which then turns into electrical energy in a generator.
For critical signal processing applications such as frequency categorization, structural health monitoring, illness identification in power electronics circuits and motor fault detection, artificial neural networks have lately become the state-of-the-art technology. In light of the multiple advantages of utilizing adaptable and compact deep equivalents, such as those that can be trained with a minimal dataset of signals, without needing data transformation, this is a logical consequence.
Divorce has been shown to have a wide range of negative effects on the environment, including an increased demand for resources and a decrease in household resource efficiency. Divorce is an ignored aspect that must be taken into account when discussing environmental protection and the fight against climate change. This course introduces students to the legal system in the United Kingdom and the changes it has undergone over its history. In this course, you'll learn about how the common law of England, the legal system in England, and the legal components of constitutional forms of government evolved over time. The physical location of a restaurant in the competitive landscape of the city has long been known as a major factor in its likely success or failure. Once restaurants are established in such environments, they can do little about their location. All they can do is work to improve customer access to their premises. Restaurateurs often do this by engaging in battles with local authorities about car parking.
Although movie critics have never considered George Lucas an auteur, for untold millions of Star Wars fans he remains an unrivaled fount of entertainment. Peter Jackson, director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, has said that Mr. Lucas is the Thomas Edison of the modern film industry. Within the crust, including mud and solid rock layers, fin whale sounds contain reflected and refracted signals. Using seismometers on the ocean floor, researchers can measure the thickness of the strata as well as other information essential to seismic study, says John Nabelek, a professor in the College of Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Sciences at Oregon State University and a co-author of the work. Matthew Brady, a well-known portrait photographer, requested permission from President Lincoln in 1861 to shoot the Civil War across the country. Lincoln gave him freedom to travel with the Union Army anywhere he wanted, and his account of the civil battle revealed the horrors of war to millions.
The control condition was identical, except that subjects were not given the paragraph with the false information and rated Natalie only once.
It is M. Kent's intention, in practice, to create a global campaign in order to broaden the scope of their services and attract new clients. With this goal in mind, he is trying to spread Coca-Cola manufacturing over the world. Furthermore, he continually keeps an eye on the work of his rivals in order to maintain his position at the top. When it comes to running a business, M. Kent is an expert in organizing and motivating personnel to their full potential.